did, because he's an arsehole, was text Harry, we'd have won that. I'd have won that for you. Because he's that arrogant, he'd have believed it.
Mm.
And
he probably would have had more than one shot on target. I mean, that was incredibly poor to not even test their goalkeeper, really. It was just 90 minutes as a fan.
The bottom line is, guys, we would have lost that final if we'd have had any manager with the same mental approach that we had.
Yeah.
We would have lost to anybody because that mentality was not going to win us the final. If we changed our mentality and went in with whatever manager and said, we are going to have a go, then there was an opportunity for us to win that final. Leeds went to Man City, the Etihad, and beat Manchester City 2-1.
Well, they've got a great attitude, haven't they, Leeds? They just go for it. Yeah.
So I look at it and say that final would have been lost, irrelevant of whoever manager, if we went in with the same mentality.
Yeah.
How do you think we can change the mentality, Mickey? What do you think is missing?
I think there's quite a few players within the club who've sort of been through really, really good times for our football club and played in a very, very, very good side and also looked like they could win things during that sort of 3 or 4 year period. I think what's happened is that they didn't get over the line. And I know from experience that the first time you get over the line, it gives you the confidence, belief that you can get over the line again and again and again. But this team sort of suffered knockbacks at crucial stages in league. You know, when we finished second, when we lost to Chelsea, this team and some of these players have sort of experienced what it's like to lose, being so close, and some of that sort of subconsciously, it sort of carries a mental scar. And I maintain to this day, if this team had got over the line early in Poch's reign, they would have won 3 or 4 trophies right at the peak of Poch's reign.
Yeah, probably right.
But unfortunately, never got over the line, so never got the belief that's required to get. You know, you got to have really tough mental character, and you got to get over that line and be strong about it and do it, and then you know it's there in reach. But this team sort of fell short. And I think maybe they carry a mental scar as a consequence of that. Yet, the only way to get over the line is to actually go there and believe you're getting over the line and believe that you're better than the opposition and go and have a go. But if you are in a negative frame of mind about the outcome, you're not going to get over the line.
So what do you think we need to do, Mickey? Do we need to make wholesale changes or bring a manager in who can change that attitude?
No, I don't think it's got anything to do with the manager. It's a load of bull when I hear managers say, I'm here to change the mentality. No, you can't change the mentality of the individual. He has to change it himself.
Yeah.
You know, and as I've said, was the team that I played in, did we have a winning mentality? What changed us? Well, we signed our dealers. We signed Villa, 2 World Cup winners.
Yeah.
We then signed Archibald, who'd won things with Aberdeen. We signed Ray Clements, who won things at Liverpool. So suddenly we went from Steve Perryman had already won things at the club. So we went from having sort of only Stevie who had won things, big trophies, to having sort of 4 and 5 players who'd won World Cups, won European Cups, won League Championships, won UEFA Cup, and suddenly we had 4 or 5 winners in the team who were not just winners, but also sort of captains, if you like. Stevie was an unbelievable captain, but he also had other players on the pitch that were leaders in a different way to what Stevie was. So we benefited all round. So that then fed off into the other players, that fed off into the youngsters coming through, like myself, like Mark Falco, like Gary Brook, like Chris Hughton, Paul Miller, Graham Roberts, Tony Galvin. Their winning mentality start to feed into us. So when the opportunities came along, and it took, I think from the moment Ozzy joined, it took 3 years for us to get over the line and win a trophy. So it doesn't come overnight, that winning mentality. But we had winners there that dug at it, and they sort of educated us how to become a winner, how to believe, how to know how to approach a game to win a game. And I maintain to this day that team was so gifted, so talented, so tough. It should have won everything for 4 or 5 years. It didn't, because we broke up too quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you talk about winners and people that have been there and done it, and I think we're probably going to move on in a minute. But the player, one of the players that had the best performance for us yesterday was someone that won the World Cup, has lifted the World Cup, is Lloris on the big stage. He's had his ups and downs, and he's had a lot of criticism over the period. But when push came to shove and there was a trophy on the line and an opportunity to win something, he actually put in like a top draw performance because he knew something. It counted. He knew there was something at stake, and that's, as you say, I think that's the difference. Is someone that's actually been there, got over the line. Right. And knows how to do it. Sarah?
Unfortunately, he's a goalkeeper and he's often too far away from the play to influence the play. As a captain, I think Harry Kane is the most inspirational footballer at Spurs. I think he inspires everyone around him. He inspires the fans. We know that Harry's going to, at some point, play brilliant and become a winner. So would I have a goalkeeper as captain as good as he was yesterday? No, I wouldn't. I'd always have an outfield player. I've never had a goalkeeper captain. Outfield players are closer to everyone. Yeah. Stevie Perryman, for instance, would talk to me. He would say things to Paul Miller in a very different manner to what he would say to me. He would maybe say something to Ozzy, very little to Glenn, because I asked Stevie the other day. I said, Stevie, sometimes you never ever had a go at Glenn, Steve, because Glenn was a great player. And he said, well, I didn't have a go at Glenn. He said, because when I come back in my next life, I want to be Glenn Hoddle, So he had so much respect for Glenn as a footballer that he didn't feel the need to tell him. But with me, he'd sort of pull me to one, Mickey, you're the best player on the pitch. You're running the show. Keep it going, blah, blah. He'd say to the pub, Maxie, you're off asleep, son. Come on. A lot worse than that, by the way. He swore. You're off asleep. Come on. You got to book your ideas up. Come on. So he knew exactly who to have a pop at, shout at, give a little cuddle to, say some nice words to. He understood it all. When I watch our team play, I actually think we've got a team that can win trophies. I think we've got some really, really good players. Toby at the backs, I think he's a brilliant player. I think Regulion, although he's gone slightly off the ball, brilliant player. Yeah. Olberg in midfield, he's a winner. And you look at Harry, and we've got a team capable of winning things. But I don't feel we've got someone out there who fully understands how to make every one of them tick.
Yeah.
Mourinho, I felt treat every player the same, and you can't.
Yeah. He manages one way. That's it. He has one way of managing, default setting, and
if you look at Poch made these players superstars. Because he managed them perfectly. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying about Steve Perryman. Steve Perryman was absolutely the cleverest footballer in terms of man management that you'll ever meet. He knew what made every single one of his team tick. So he would say the right words to every single one of them. And I don't get that feeling that's within this team. At the moment, and yet I sincerely believe this, and I'm not bullshitting here in any way, shape or form. I believe that this team, under the right guidance, the right leadership, can win trophies. You don't get to a Champions League final, you really don't, if you're not very good players and a very, very good team.
Yeah, sure.
So this team can win things. But somehow they have to. They have to look within. I'm not a believer. I don't believe in ever making excuses for myself. Mm-hmm. People say, "Oh, if
I'm not a believer, I don't."
If someone, that's my watch. If someone said to me, "Why did you not play 500 claims for Spurs because of Glenn Hoddle? Do you regret playing?" No, it wasn't Glenn's fault. I didn't play 500. It was my fault. Because I should have played 500, and if I'd have been a bit more assertive, a bit more dominant, and believed in myself even more, then I would have had 500 games. It's nothing to do with Glenn. And I hate excuses. So I look at our players and I said, don't look to the manager. You know, one of my favourite sayings is that, and it's from the poem If. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard
John
the poem.
Kipling.
And it says, don't let success or failure dictate who you are. So interpreting that is, if a manager shouts on, that's brilliant, Harry, or that's brilliant, Sonny, or that's brilliant, Gareth, or that's brilliant, Toby, it boosts you. But just as that boosts you, if he says, that's terrible, Sorby, then that knocks you. So I say, don't let the success of a pass or the failure of a pass to dictate your confidence. Your confidence should be on an even level, non-stop, all of the time, right? It shouldn't be dictated to, I get confident if I hit a good pass, I lose confidence if I hit a bad pass. Or if I get bollocked, I lose confidence. If I get praised, I gain. No, get yourself on. So these players need to look deep within themselves and say, right, there's a reason why we're not winning this trophy, because we're good enough to, right? Are we approaching it in the right manner? So they can find their own mental toughness. It's not for me to find their mental toughness. It's not for me to give them confidence. They have to search within to find their own. And then once they've all found their own, believe me, they will win trophies galore. Some of them are such incredibly good players. And it hurts me to say something negative about it because I don't like being negative. But I really believe if they can find mental toughness, mental strength, and confidence and belief, they go on and win trophies. Simple as.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, I think we'll move on. So, we've got a section on this day. So, our on this day, as you know, is on this day yesterday in 1984. Spurs beat Hajduk Split, second leg of the UEFA Cup semi-final, and I don't know if you want to talk us through the game because Sarah. Oh, before you talk us through the game, Micky, Sarah, were you even born at that point?
No.
Okay, so you need to give Sarah some context. You need to give Sarah some context and some detail because she wasn't around. She doesn't know what happened. So can you talk her through the game?
Yeah, well, basically in 1984 we had a brilliant squad of players. We were a very, very, very good team. But unfortunately, throughout the course of that season, we'd experienced really lots of injuries to key some of our best players. For instance, when we played in the UEFA Cup final in 1984, Glenn Hoddle, who was for me possibly one of the three greatest Spurs, for me the greatest English player ever, but also I would put him in my top two Spurs players of all time. He was injured. Steve Perryman, our captain, unbelievable captain, unbelievable player, was suspended. Ray Clements, a goalkeeper that had won incredible amounts of trophies, a brilliant goalkeeper, he was injured. Ozzy Ardiles, World Cup winner, was injured. And Garth Crooks, goal scorer, was injured. So we had five absolute starting 11 players injured for the final. So, you know, and again, if you refer back to mental tough, we put a lot of kids in to replace them. Ali Dick, Gary Mavick was playing centre midfield alongside me. Gary Stevens was playing right wing. I mean, Gary Stevens, who's a centre half. Tony Galvin. You know, we had a really Mark Falkwell, young boy, up front, replacing Crooks. So we had a really. So when you look back, you think, wow, the mental attitude won us that game, because to lose such five incredible footballers, yet still beat a top team like Anderlecht with world-class footballers in their team, was incredible. But before we did that, we went to the semi-final. We played in Hajduk Split first. It was an incredibly wet night, chucking it down the rain. We absolutely played unbelievable on the night. We didn't win 4-5-0, I do not know. We came on with a 2-1 defeat, and we played absolutely brilliant in Hajduk Split. So obviously coming back home, you've got an away goal, but you know it's fragile because it was one. But you're behind and we're playing against a good side.